Welcome back everyone to Mona's Take. I am your host Mona Rose and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. Today we're going to talk about the last 24 hours in the Big Brother house with the live feeds. This is a spoiler alert. If you do not want to know who is HOH and you do not want to know who is nominated, come back after Sunday night's show. We will have the answers to those questions. Watch the show and then you can come back and you can see my take on it. So now is your chance to exit. Come back and watch though. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. So can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Alright guys, welcome back. Please, if you would be so kind to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Alright, let's get right into it. So the last 24 hours, we've had a new HOH. Sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. So the last 24 hours we have a new HOH. We know that is Cameron. Now it's time for him to nominate. So we left off, I think we left off after Cameron broke down. Yeah, after he broke down in the HOH room after everybody left. And that's why he was wanting everybody to leave. I'm seeing a little bit of a different side of Cameron since he got HOH. He doesn't have diarrhea of the mouth like he's had for the past 3 weeks. He seems to be keeping his stuff very guarded, mainly between him and Red. So we'll see how the week progresses. Alright, so at some point Corey tells America about Zach being his brother. It doesn't show the initial part of him telling her that, or if she just guessed it, or what. But when it goes to them, she is saying, do you think Izzy knows? Because Izzy is a huge fan. And he's like, no, I don't think Izzy knows. He said at one point I thought she did because she said referenced something about Survivor and Zach's season. But he's thinking that it's so far back that she's forgotten who Zach is, which is a good thing. They talk about the process, and he said it really helped me with the process coming in here because it's just a lot similar to what Zach went through for Survivor. She asked about Molly. I guess they've got a sister. And said, do you think Molly will do something like this? And he said she wants to do Big Brother, but after this, no, it's not happening. So, I don't know if he's being a protective brother or what, but Corey tells America, they talk about the deal that was made with Cameron. And she's like, I don't know if I should tell people or not tell people, what I should tell them about it, what was said, whatever. And he said, look, if Corey knows, or if Cameron knows, Red knows. If Red knows, Bowie knows. If Bowie knows, the whole house knows. There's no sense in lying about it. Just tell what deal you made. You were saving yourself. This is about self-preservation. They can't be mad at you for saving yourself. So, they agreed that she would come clean. If anybody asks, you know, she's just going to tell them. And evidently what happened was when they made the deal, Cameron made the deal to keep her safe. And that she would not be a nominee and that she would not be a replacement nominee. They made the deal, I guess then a few minutes later, she said, and also Matt and Corey. He said, yeah. So I don't think he planned on putting up Matt and Corey to begin with, so it was like, yeah. I don't think either one of those have a chance in hell of going up as a replacement. The have-nots this week are Corey, Bowie, and Izzy. Bowie and Izzy both volunteered they can have PB&J, which means they can have anything that goes in that, which means they can have toast. They can't have butter, but they can have toast. Peanut butter sandwiches, jelly sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, any version of that. So they both agreed to volunteer and let it be their week, since it was going to be something other than just slop. And I don't blame them. If I had to choose a week, it would be a week when they have PB&J, because I could live on that. Probably dying at the end of the week, but I could live on that. Oh my God, Sari and Izzy and Felicia, they wear me out. I love them. I love watching them, but damn, they wear me out. They are so convinced that Cameron has a backdoor plan for Jared. They know it's Jared. They're going to backdoor him. They got to do whatever they can to win that veto so that Jared doesn't go on the block. And they're just having a total freaking meltdown. Izzy goes in to talk to Cameron. He tells her the same thing. The plan is a plan. It's Jag and Blue. And if we need a replacement, we'll figure that out down the line. The 8 of us will get together. You got to remember, there's so many alliances in that house. There's an 8, there's a 7, there's a 6. They all intercombine. It's ridiculous. So he says the 8 of us will get together. We'll figure it out. It's not a big deal. If we need someone to sit on the block, you know, and she says, what about America? And he says, I can't do America. I made a deal with America and Mimi. They can't go on the block. So he added Mimi in there on that mix. Was that on purpose? I think so. I think so. Because it's him telling her, look, if either one of them come off the block, somebody from our side's going to have to go up. I mean, for real. They don't have anybody else. He can't do America. He can't do Mimi. Jag and Blue are already on the block. It goes down to their side. Somebody from their side is going to have to be a replacement nominee if Jag or Blue come off. And I think Jag, fighting for his life, he showed last week that when it counts, he can get it done. So we'll see. Cameron says, we know the plan, we're just going to run with it. He kind of rushes her out of the room. Like, his talk is, we're done. And I can't say that I blame him, as much as I dislike Cameron because I think that he's a snake when it comes to the game. I understand why you would not have a conversation with somebody that you know doesn't like you. Izzy can't stand him. She's made that very clear. And I think at this point, if she were to go up on the block, that's her own damn fault. She did it to herself. You cannot be that blatantly open this early in the game when you don't know who's going to have power. So I think that was Izzy's first mistake. So he rushes her out of the room. Cameron and Jag talks, and he says, look, I'm not going to bullshit you. You're going up. You know I got to keep this. I've got to keep this persona going that I've got to do what the house wants. I want an easy peasy week. I don't want any chaos like we've been having. So you and Blue are going to go on the block. Now, if you get up there and you fight your ass off and you win and you come off the block, then I have to replace somebody else. He said if Blue gets up there and bites and pulls herself off, then I have to replace her. Somebody else. So he's not holding back at all. And he says, you know, you and I started on the same side. Things happen. I've got to go with the majority of the house. So Jag leaves, and then America comes in. And Cameron's telling her that Red is... they're talking about who she would have put up. And he said, you would have put up Red. And she said, no, I wouldn't have. And he said, yeah, you would have. And she said, no, I wouldn't have. And he said, why? And she said, because that would have been the easy thing to do. She said, to me, Red's the easy way out. She said, no, I wouldn't have done that. And Cameron says, yeah, Red's my dude, you know. I don't want him to go home. If he goes home, there's nobody else here that looks like me or talks like me or has the same background as I do. He's just my chillbilly. He's my dude. He's like, I'm not saying he's my final two, but I'm saying he's my dude. And everybody can see that you guys are final two. The next one to come in is Corey. And Corey starts talking. I was a little surprised at this. That Corey's playing the game. He is definitely playing the game. And he's smart and calculating. But I think it's staying under the radar for the moment. I don't think anybody takes him seriously. And they're sleeping on him. And that's probably best for his game. But it's not going to be smart for theirs. So he goes in and he starts talking to Cameron. And as he's talking, I don't even know if he meant to say it. But as he's talking, he says, you know, the last 2 weeks there was never really a chance for you to go home, even though the house was flipped back and forth. There was really no chance in you ever going home. We weren't going to let that happen. And he says, what do you mean, last week? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, the other side, they were mad because you didn't pack. He's like, it's something stupid. And he's like, I tell them you did this last week, that you pack at the last minute and you just throw everything in their bag. And they were upset that you weren't packed. And so you were being so cocky that you were going to stay, yada, yada, yada. So he's basically telling Cameron that there was talk last week of sending him home. Now, the only way that could happen is if the people he's working with turned against him. Like they did Heisem, like they did Riley. It's been every week. And it's exhausting. But, so Cameron raises his eyebrows a little bit at this. And he's just listening to Corey talk. Corey says, Cameron is letting Corey talk, and then he looks up at him and he goes, it's Izzy, isn't it? And Corey says, well, yeah, maybe not this week she would have put you up, but definitely next week you would have been gone. So, he's telling him, well, she can't do anything this week because you're HOH, but if she gets HOH next week, you're gone. Is what I took from it. And I'm sure that's what Cameron took for it. Because he's not stupid. He is slithering his way through this game. He's another very smart player that knows the game. American knows it. Corey knows it. Cameron knows it. Izzy knows it. There's a few that have watched every season and it shows. They actually do know the game. So Corey leaves out. The next one Cameron talks to is Blue. And he does the same thing. Well, first, when she walks in, she's got one of those shirts on that have cuts and holes and everything all in it. And she walks in and he said, nice almost shirt. And she says, nice almost compliment. Well, that's a hell of a way to start the conversation. But, Blue, he tells Blue the same thing. You know, I've got to go with the house. I've got to do what the house wants. It's going to be you and Jag. We started on the same side. I love you both. You get up there, you fight your ass off. But, I have to do what the house wants. And she says, well, what do you want? What's the big picture? What would be your perfect scenario? And he won't give her any straight answers. And she said, so last week people were talking about, people that you're working with were talking about voting you out and keeping Isom. And the house split back and forth a couple times. Said, so why would you be appeasing those people that were going to vote you out? Basically. And he goes round and round and round. And basically Blue is like, digging at him, trying to get a straight answer. He's not giving it to her. So she knows he's bullshitting her. So they have a little talk. She knows she's going up on the block. She leaves out of the room. Red comes back in. Red said, man, Jared just told me that I didn't tell him about Blue lying to me. And I know I told him about Blue lying to me. And Cameron said, they're working together. He's like, don't worry about it. And he's like, but you know what? Maybe I didn't tell him. Maybe I was going to tell him, and maybe I got sidetracked by something else, and I never told him. So Red's questioning himself now with Jared. And Red says, I'm going to read this because I want to get this a word for word. Red said, how was your convo with Izzy? And Cameron said, good. I can tell she's guarded and fake as hell. But, so why did you say that about her earlier? About her not being happy that I won? And Red said, because her and Jared and Felicia was talking. And Cameron said, dude, they getting some side stuff going. Felicia and Suri know more about what's going on Jared knows more about what's going on with the 8 that he's not in. How is that possible? And Red said, Suri and Felicia, and he said, they got something going. They got something side going. And Red said, the fact is, we're her least favorite people in the house. We just don't click. Talking about Izzy. And she would be my first to go if we turned on our own group. But Suri says it's too early to turn on our own group. And he's convinced that he has this relationship with Suri that nobody else in the house has. And that he would go home for her before he would let her go home. Like, okay, dude. Suri's good. I see all over Twitter people complaining about Suri every day. She don't know how to play the game. She does go back and forth. She's got too much time on her hand and her mind's constantly working. But Suri can make a relationship with damn near anybody. I have never seen anyone that Suri couldn't make a personal connection with. She just has that gift. I don't know what it is, but she has that gift. And Cameron says, well, you know, if the shit goes south this week, we can always take Izzy out. He said, if shit goes south this week, we can always, and Red said, backdoor Izzy. So they're talking about it. And she's brought it on herself. Talking too much to too many people. And what I found is there's not very many people in this house that are loyal to anybody. Other than Suri and Jared, I don't think anybody in there is loyal to one person. Maybe Felicia and Suri. Maybe Felicia feels that way about Suri, and Izzy feels that way about Suri. But if Izzy's ass goes on the block, she's going to do whatever she has to save herself. So let's talk about that. If he backdoors Izzy, do you think that she's going to keep her mouth shut about Jared and Suri? Or do you think that she's going to turn on them, expose them? I don't know. I think she's got such a blind loyalty and following for Suri. I don't think she's going to do it, but we'll see. Alright, so noms are made. Of course, it's Blue and Jag, just like Cameron said it would be. They're in their room talking, and they said, oh, well, we knew it was coming. Now Jared's in there with them, and they're thinking that Jared's the backdoor plan if either one of them come off. So if they take themselves off, they're putting Jared at risk. Which he's not. His name has not been mentioned for a backdoor. The only backdoor that's been mentioned is Izzy. So then it cans back to Cameron and Red, and they're talking about Izzy again, and how she's faking it, and how she's acting like she likes him, but they both know she doesn't. Red said, hell, I don't care. And Cameron said no. Or he said, hell, I don't care. Put me on the block. We're talking about replacement nominees if they have to. Red's, and they're talking about Sari. And Red's like, I told Sari she's not going up as a replacement. She has nothing to worry about. He said, hell, who cares? Put me up. And Cameron said, no, I need you for a vote, dude. I need numbers because this is a 5-5 week. We have 10 people voting, so it could possibly be a tie, which I would break the tiebreaker. He said, so, and the way he said it, it was almost like he's going to plan it. He's going to plan a 5-5 vote so that he can get up there and he can cast the last vote to evict whoever it is. Which leads me in my head to think that maybe he's not telling Red, but he's really considering this Izzy backdoor plan. That he's not telling anybody about it. Because that would be perfect karma for her and all the shit that she's talked about him. For him to be the final one to say, you're going home. Just a thought. Like I said, he hasn't verbalized it. But that's a thought. They're talking about Izzy rubbing people the wrong way. Red said everybody in the what is it? Not the clown room. Is it the clown room? I don't know. Where Bowie and Red and Izzy and Suri sleep. Totally went blank. He said she's rubbed everybody in there the wrong way at one time or another. She's just so abrupt and she just rubs people the wrong way. So then it pans away from that and it goes to Izzy and Suri and activate freak out mode because they're convinced that Jared's the backdoor plan. Evidently Jared's got to them and they're convinced that this is all a ruse and that the plan is to backdoor Jared and get Jared out. At one point, Suri's telling Jared, look, if you and I end up on the block together ever at one point, I'm going home. I will tell everybody to vote, to evict me, because I've had my fill of this. This is your turn. If it comes down to it, I would go home before I would let you go home. And then it goes back, the next conversation between Izzy and Suri is talking about Bowie again. And Izzy's saying she can't wait until she has some power so that she can confront Bowie on her shit and call her out about her feeling Red in on everything. And they know that she's a snake and da-da-da-da-da-da. So Izzy can't wait for that moment. Izzy looks for drama. Izzy looks for confrontation 24/7. That would totally wear my ass out. And she gets in Suri's head. And she makes Suri think that shit's going on that's not really going on. But, so, that's what I have for you guys for tonight. Video will be sometime today. I will do another video. I'll try to get it in tonight. We are actually going out of town tomorrow. So I don't know if I will get it in before I leave. If not, I will do it when I get back. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about what's going on in the game. And until next time, as always, much love.